Beautiful. We'll have a look at the magazine, a little sneak peek in a moment. And before then, I would love to know how you are, what you're doing, what's going on in your world. How is your work coming through right now, Dr. Lynita? What's exciting you?
Yeah, so life is really good. It's interesting because I just got off a wonderful coaching call with my new trainer. And one of the things that I told her is that, I'm in a really good place in life to really take this seriously. And it got me to thinking, Dr. Laura, about how the divine sets up our lives in a beautiful, organized way if we just go with the flow. Because if I had had that call even a week ago, it wouldn't have
Mm,
gone as well as it had. And if
mm.
I had it a week later, same deal. But today was the divine day. And I think that's the thing that I'm taking most out of this part of life is the appreciation of perfect and divine timing. That everything is happening exactly when it's supposed to, as it's supposed to. We just gotta go with it.
I think that you are just so bang on with that because I'm there with you. And what was running through my mind is how much waste of time and energy I have put into things trying to semi make things happen.
Yes.
When I say semi, it's like that's on a scale of
Yes.
yeah, there's a scale to that.
Yeah, and I think that we have to get to the place where we stop trying to make things happen and
Yeah.
allow them to flow.
Yeah.
And for me, the difference is the intention and the energy behind them. When we're trying to make things happen, there's a sense of not just urgency, but maybe a little bit of desperation, maybe some
Yes.
fear in there. And definitely there is an attitude of lack as well. And we don't normally attach the word lack to time, but when we think of deadlines and the fact that we don't have enough, that is a lack. And so if we stop trying to make things happen as if they will never happen, as opposed to trusting that they will happen when they're supposed to, and we
Yeah.
allow things to flow, we will not just be in the right mental space, but we'll have the right emotional and spiritual capacity so that our entire aggregate being can be involved and participatory in whatever it is that's going on. And that's when we can have some fun and the magic can happen.
Yes, and that's work in progress though, isn't it? Especially that
Oh,
last
yes.
piece that you've just said, because it can be really coming out of a paradigm or a way of thinking that if something seemingly isn't happen, that we have to stress even more about it, or we can't relax because this isn't happening or that isn't happening the way we think it should be happening.
Yes, that's exactly right. And, we're all human. We get caught up in the crush of life. That
Right.
is normal. That's part
Yes.
of this human experience. But um, we're all here to evolve and to grow. And so the more that we can trust God, trust flow, the more we'll have those opportunities where we'll see things happening for us and not to us.
Yes, that's such a great way of putting it. For us and not to us.
Yeah.
Um, I was on yesterday on a call on here with Eloise Burton, and she has written a book called Financial Alchemy. And I mean, the work that you're doing, I suppose what I'm saying is the work that you're doing with, and you're writing in the magazine and what you bring forward, and then listening to her and listening to also to Jane, who writes in the magazine about financial net worth, and hearing you and the three of you and your different ideas, although it's all the same, the one idea. I love the way that you break down, the money miracle and how money matters and the money mindset, in that it's not ever really about the money, is it?
It was
That's
never about the money.
No.
Reverend Ike said once, I am money. And when he said it, people thought he was crazy. But, and to be fair, I was a people. I
Right.
was included in the people. And it wasn't until I was in one of those quiet, still moments that we have during life that I understood what he was saying. There is an attitude, there is a mindset that must come first before you can accept that you are abundance. And
Yes.
then the money and is a manifestation of that. But there first has to
Yes.
be an attitude and a mindset that gives way to the manifestation for the physical money that comes to us. So yeah.
Yes. That's really powerful the way you've stated it just here, because it's like it's happened already, and we have to accept that it's happened and have the right mindset, the right heart set, the right receiving attitude
Yes.
to receive. And what do you think, Dr. Lynita, about how the body plays its part in this?
Ooh. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
I
I'm
was listening
interested.
to Billy Carson probably about 2 weeks ago, and he dropped something. If you've ever listened to him, he says so much. He's like a fire hose of information, right?
Right.
And you
You
catch
gotta
some
keep up.
drops. Yeah, right. Exactly, right. And so he was saying that the human body has about 13 billion strands of code or available coding through our DNA. And when you look at the universe has about that many um, star systems or galaxies, right? Which would lead you to infer that every person has the universe mapped onto us. And
Right.
so when we're thinking about this abundance and this wealth and this mindset, that means that everything that we've ever needed is within. And so when we're talking about bringing things forth and a manifestation, of anything that we want, then we have to first go within. And that requires us to have a very structured and committed space and time for us to go into meditation and for us to pray.
Yes.
Um, and people, you can call it what you want. I don't care about the labels, just that you take the time to do it, okay?
Yes. The time to be available for God.
Absolutely. And to
Yes.
yourself, right?
Yes.
And being,
Exactly.
yeah, and to be honest about the things that you want and why you want them. To accept those things without judgment, somebody else's judgment or your own. And then you can get really clear about how those things will lead to a better life for yourself, how it will empower others, how you can be a blessing to humankind.
Right.
Because that's when things really start to take off for you. Because I can say that honestly in my mind, when I started on this journey of writing and speaking, I wanted to write a book, yes, but I wanted it to be something that would help other people. And so my first book was called Leading Through Living, a guide for women seeking growth through leadership. And I talked about the fact that my first couple of jobs, I was not able to get the exposure and the experience that I thought that I would get. And so I started doing a lot of work in the community, and then those skills transferred over into the job.
Right.
But when I published that book and I was talking about it, I was speaking to a generation of workers, because the generation is about 10 when we're talking about the work life. I was speaking to those coming behind me. And then that's when things started taking off for me. And do I believe that if I had just talked about me, that it would have been successful? Maybe, but I don't think it would have led to where I am right now on the cover of your awesome magazine. At least not in the timetable that it would have. I really think that
Right.
these are the things that allow for abundance and prosperity to show up in a way other than what we've been taught, which is money, clothes, cars, and etc. So
Yes.
this is beyond the stuff. This is life satisfaction. This is joy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes. This is the prosperity that we have that is innately within us, that we give as a gift
Yes.
to others.
Yeah.
And that cultivates a consciousness within us that we have enough to give, and so we have enough to receive.
Yes.
That's the way I hear what you're saying. So you're saying you went into the workplace and you were giving your gifts and you were intentionally serving and helping others to see their own light as leaders.
Yes. And also doing it outside of work, mostly outside of work. We're going and serving in nonprofit organizations and speaking. My first paid speaking engagement didn't come until I think I was out here maybe 2 or 3 years. I didn't even know there was a such thing as an industry called Speak for Pay. I did not realize that people were being paid to take the stage. That
Right.
was a very welcome surprise when the first
Yeah.
person paid me. I was like, "Oh, this is cool. I can do this." But
Yeah. Yeah, you can. You do.
right. But those are the things that happen when we commit to something greater than the Lynita that is taking this human body right now. When
Right.
I commit to the Lynita that is connected to all that is. So that's Dr.
Yes.
Laura, and that's our families, that's our friends, those are the people we'll never meet.
Yes.
But we want to make sure that the energetic footprint that we are leaving every time we move in this world is a loving one, is a positive one.
And I think this is really interesting that you're bringing this into like weaving this into the conversation now, this speaking part,
Yeah.
because we didn't talk about this last time when you came onto the show. We were talking a lot about your amazing book, which you have, this book that you have behind you here.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And we were talking about that. And it would be really interesting to hear your point of view about as a how now you see that there are so many, or we see there are so many female leaders that are taking the stage and are showing up as speakers and really vocalizing what their truth is and what means something, what matters to us. We're actually getting up on stages, or even if not on stages, on Zoom like this, and we're saying it. And isn't that such a powerful thing, that
Oh,
we have the ability to do this and we can share? And I love it that you said, and get paid for it and be compensated.
yes. I love the fact that the feminine energy is finally coming up to a place where it is not trying to overtake the masculine, but
Right.
take its rightful place next to. I
Yes.
love the fact that more people understand that when there are both energies involved, all voices involved, that we get a world that is not just more representative of the people it is serving, or the leadership is more representative of the people it's serving, but it is more loving toward those people as well. I love the girl power and the
Yes.
absolute magic, the girl magic, right? That
Yes.
is showing up. And I love that our daughters and our sons are seeing the value of that and saying, that can be me, that will be me, that is me. And
Right.
we're seeing it quickly manifest. And I absolutely love that. And if I had a little part to do with that, then all is well. It is good.
Oh, I think you have had a huge part to do with that. I think that our generation of that we bring in our children, and I think we've laid a foundation as
Yes.
one together. All of us, we've laid this powerful foundation of saying enough is enough. This is where it changes. This is where we
Yes.
show you a new way, and you take it and run with it.
Yes.
And it's good, so amazing to see that happening, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. And whenever I have the opportunity to speak with the people who are now taking the what we used to call mid-level jobs, so the managers, directors, and have the opportunity to help groom them for the C-suite, so the CEOs, the CIOs, the CHOs, right? Um, I think that it is really important that we have that opportunity. When we have the opportunity, that we take it. And yes, sometimes it is inconvenient and we do have to switch our schedules around. Sometimes it does require us to take time, and sometimes it's a financial investment as well. But if we're serious about moving our entire planet forward in its natural course of evolution and going with the flow of that, then
Yes.
we all have to be part of that movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Living into the vision.
Oh, I like that. Living into the
Living
vision.
into the vision, because it's great. It's one thing to have the vision and then like, okay, one day, and it's another thing to say, right, and this is the part I'm prepared to play in this game of life, to bring the vision forwards for all of us, for each of us.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, yes, yes.
And so, Dr. Lynita, I want to get this up here because I think this is like, wow.
That will never get old, by the way.
Oh no, this is timeless, eternal, beautiful. And your daughter, what is your daughter's name?
Angelica.
Angelica, shout out to Angelica, who is your personal photographer, and you have amazing styling team, and you put so much love and care into this, into coming onto the cover for the magazine. And I was just kind of like, wow, I was wowed by your intention to show up and shine your light so powerfully here.
Thank you. And but I do have to make the one correction. Now, Angelica did my makeup for this one.
Angelica did your makeup?
Yes,
okay.
But the picture was taken by Keisha Hull.
Okay, Keisha. So Angelica did the makeup, and beautiful. Your whole energy that you bring to the magazine anyway, with what you're sharing in the magazine, the content that you bring is such a treasure for me, for readers, for life, what you're bringing forwards. I want to thank you again, Dr. Lynita, for being so present in the magazine. And I had some fun creating this magazine this time. I'm going to go into here you are, there we are. What a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, such an amazing image of you. I love it.
And as you can see, green is my color.
Green
happy.
It is your color. It really is. And I just thought, okay, let's make the whole magazine green. Let's go for it here. What do you love about writing, Dr. Lynita?
Oh, I love the fact that I have an opportunity to share love and inspiration and motivation in a medium that will live forever. And so sometimes I look back on what I have written in order to encourage and empower me. I think sometimes people forget that even as a motivational, inspirational, transformational speaker, that we have times where we have dark days.
Yeah.
And most of my writing, especially these last 3, are actually divine inspirations. People don't believe it, but this is the truth, Dr. Laura. A lot of times when I am writing, because it's the divine download, when I'm going back to read it, I'm reading this for the first time. Even though I wrote it, that came straight from God. And so I'm just like, wow, that is amazing.
Wow.
And yeah, it is, because God is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And you are this expression of the divine.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And here I'm going to just share for a couple of moments the wisdom writers, all of you that are in here in the magazine, and what you're bringing forwards. It just, every time I'm with this magazine and I'm bringing the content together, it's just, I feel so kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm in a masterclass here. It's amazing. There's so much greatness, and so much. The writing has so much potential to shift the way we think and feel. Even a sentence in here can be, oh, okay, I'm going to ponder this sentence. It can change something for me.
Yes.
And so as we're just coming through, here you are. This is your, this was actually transcribed from the Divine C. It was called the Women of Power Show then when you came on. So this is some of the transcript from that show, that podcast. And when I was transcribing this and editing it for here, I was really reminded again of the power of standing in our own presence, and how you talk here about bringing up your daughter and refusing to give her or even to look at the grades that she had at school, because you didn't want to place any kind of judgment on her education, whether she was doing well or not. And she's done amazingly. And would you like to talk on that for a little bit here?
Absolutely. So one of the things that my husband and I, without verbally talking about it, but that we came to through mutual consent, was that we wanted our child to have an enjoyable educational experience. We both were exceptionally involved in school, taking all these really tough, challenging courses involved in athletics and other extracurricular activities, plus being involved with church and other community organizations. And it wound up with both of us being really tired teenagers. And then to go into college with that same expectation, and we both did it, and we met, and then we went into our work lives as careerists, and we were like, does this ever stop? And the answer, Dr. Laura, is no, not until you decide that you want to live a different type of life. Right. And so we were blessed that we were a little older when our daughter was born. So whereas many of our friends started having children immediately in their early 20s, Angelica wasn't born until we were 30. And so we were able to come to a lot of these things and say, yeah, we want something different for her. And so whenever she wanted to try something, absolutely, let's do it. We put everything behind it. And when she was done with it, we were done with it.
Right.
And if she wanted to do something that was challenging, we put everything behind it. And if she didn't, that was fine. Throughout her whole life, she will tell you there have just been two things that we insisted that she do. One of them was participating in a dance production at church one time. And then the second was the debutante cotillion. So that was one time. But her entire school career has been her choice. And interestingly, it led her to try things when she was confident enough to take them on, as opposed to her going through it scared and feeling that at any moment the bottom would fall out.
Right.
She knew that she was supported. She knew she was loved. And I am so grateful for that. And so now here she is as a senior in high school. She's an honor student. Because of some programs that we have here in the U.S., in our state of Georgia, she'll go to school on a full scholarship, college on a full scholarship. And she is a well-adjusted, genuinely kind person. And I absolutely love that for her and for me too, because she's kind to mommy and daddy, which we love.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
Oh my gosh! And what a way to have that trust and surrender, and to know that Angelica will choose her own way, and it will all be good.
Yes,
and it will all be perfect. And you get to then experience her as a happy person, rather than as a pressured person, feeling that she has to do this or has to do that.
Yes, one of the things that we don't realize that our children hear everything and they see everything. They just don't necessarily say something about it. And one of the things that I say often is live an excellent life instead of a perfect one. And the difference being is that a perfect life is living up to someone else's standard, whereas an excellent life is setting your own standard and building in grace, so that if that has to change like a sliding scale, it's fine. because the only person that you're living up to someone's expectations is your own,
Is your
which is
own.
great. And so, and that's what she has done with her life. And I love that. And she is strong enough, Dr. Laura, that she will withstand both mommy and daddy when we're trying to press our own ideas onto her. And she's just like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm not feeling that. And she's not disrespectful about it. She just tells us, I don't want to do that, or no. And we accept that, because whereas a lot of parents think that we're crazy, we understand that in 1 year's time, in less than a year, she is literally going to be adulting.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
building an adult here.
And we'll then have to make those decisions without coming to you and saying, is this okay or not?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Absolutely.
It's beautiful. The other piece that I wanted to share about, or first of all, just let me see in here. We have a comment. Ah, Christine is watching from Kenya. Hi, Christine. So
Hi,
great to be here with
Christine.
you. And if anybody's, whoever's watching right now, wherever you are, welcome here. You've landed in exactly the right place on the show here today with Reverend Dr. Lynita Mitchell Blackwell, who is a cover feature woman on Divine CEO magazine, and sharing with us today. We're in conversation. One thing that I really just came to me again when I was transcribing your piece here is what you wrote about, having this opportunity to reevaluate what you had said yes to,
Yes.
and realizing the 7 pages of all of the things that you were doing at that time,
Yes.
all of the tasks, all of the things you said yes to as a commitment. And knowing you, Dr. Lynita, your yes would be a full on yes, let's go for it.
Yes.
And how that would have accumulated in burning out, basically, and the body not being able to keep up with that. And then you realizing it's that, or I either make a change or I don't. And if I don't, I'm not going to enjoy my life.
Yes.
And I suppose why I'm bringing this up is because I think this story is universal. We're each, until we're aware of how much we take on board in our lives and make a decision to do something about it, we continue in this kind of wheel of just, yes, I'll do this, yes, I'll do that, pleasing other people, thinking we're making a difference, and yet we're not. We're just making ourselves not loving ourselves. So what was the most joyous piece of that, without going too deep into the, how it happened, but when you made that shift for your life, what happened that was like, oh, this is so expansive?
Dr. Laura, when you were talking, I was just like, oh, she is preaching. That's I'm feeling everything she's saying. Yes, yes, and yes. And it's one of those things. It was not one thing. It was a series of things, and it's ongoing, to be candid with you. For instance, I was asked to do a book collaboration, like to lead the project for an organization that I'm a part of. And I created the timeline and all of the costs and all the rest of it. And it kept getting pushed back as far as the start date, but the due date for everything, as far as the launch, never moved. And so I realized, after I told the president of the organization, I said, okay, so if we don't get this started by X day, I'm not going to be able to do this. After I said that, I realized that I had crossed another barrier to that people-pleasing thing that we're all taught to do, and place my own health, my own well-being first. Because there was a time where, even though you're running 2 to 3 months late, I still would have broken myself in half,
right,
in order to make a deadline that you set and refuse to move, even though we started off with, fair expectations. And so when you're asking me, like, what was that moment? It was a series of moments. It was a series of realizing things that I had missed out with my daughter as she was growing up, because I was convinced that this client, what is going on here, it'll never happen again. And I can't even remember that client's name or what I was doing for him or her.
Okay.
It is getting ill and developing stage 4 endometriosis over a period of time that led to several really brutal surgeries, because I would not take time to rest, to eat nutritious food that was good for me, to put myself first so that I could show up as the best person for everyone else. And so once I came to the shift in thinking that needed to happen, it was the implementation that I realized would be lifelong. And
Yes.
that's what it is. It's a shift in the thinking, but it is the daily affirmation and confirmation that I am important and that I matter and I have to come first. And that is contrary to what most of us have been taught. We're taught, no, you serve, you give. Not understanding, and we've all heard you can't give from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. But I don't know how many people, Dr. Laura, I don't know how many of us really understand the concept behind that.
Right.
That it requires us to give to ourselves first so that
yes,
it is full. But what does that look like? Like how do we develop that mindset? How do we develop the practices to ensure that we do? And it's going to take a defined effort and commitment to come up with what that is for us, for each of us, because what it is for me may not be the same as it is for you.
Yes.
But that's part of the fun. That's part of the journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are such a phenomenal teacher. First of all, I want to say that you are an incredible teacher, because in the short time that I've known you, you've planted seeds in my heart to really, and I want to thank you for this, because your family are so blessed that you are who you are, and they have you every day, and the people that you work with. Because I remember you saying something to me when we first met about this situation, that you then had a practice, or your coach at the time, after you'd written it all out, your coach invited you to kind of, get rid of it all.
Oh, yes. Yes. We went from 7 pages to 2 pages, and it took 2 years to do it.
And that even now, this is the piece that's stuck in my heart. Even now, you won't take on another project without releasing something else.
That's correct. Like when I started working with my trainer this morning, I signed up with her because I had just finished running my husband's campaign. He won, and now I can do this.
Oh, congratulations. What was he winning?
Yes, he is now the executive director for the Retirement Services Department of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. So for
oh my gosh, congratulations. What's your husband's name?
His name is Reverend Brian Blackwell.
Reverend Brian Blackwell, congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And now Reverend Dr. Lynita, you can do this. So that's really good that he won. It was great. Yeah. And so how does that, in your everyday life, are you continually doing that? I won't take this on until with even micromanaging tiny things.
See, it's the tiny things that lead to the big things.
Yes.
Yeah. Because we tell ourselves, well, it's just this. It's just that. And then we look up and we have committed 2 more hours of our already overscheduled day to something that is not even important if we're honest.
Right.
If we're honest, right? Because we take on these little things. And I don't even know, Dr. Laura, if we really understand that when we're doing that we are stepping in the way of someone else's opportunity for divine evolution and growth.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes. That's like when we refuse, when somebody wants to buy us a coffee, or we say, no, 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 I'll get it. We're refusing that person
Yes.
the magnificence of them being able to give something.
Yes.
We're stepping in the way of that gift.
That's right.
And I love it, what you've just said about taking on other things as well. Wow. Yeah. Are you writing another book, Dr. Lynita? What is this other book that you're writing?
So I have not started yet. Spirit is still working on some things. I suspect that there's some other things that I need to release before
you say
download starts.
Yeah.
But I have been going into meditation the past few days, actually saying, I am ready when you are.
I tuned in there.
Yeah.
I thought, yes,
Yeah.
Dr. Lynita has another profound book coming through.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm excited about it. And you know, it's interesting because for many of you who may not know, I have been a featured writer with Divine CEO almost from its inception, doing my Money Magic series. And it has been so much fun, but it was 12 parts. And so I submitted my last part last month. And so Dr. Laura was like, Dr. Lynita, I don't have an article for you. And I was like, I don't have anything. And she was like, wait, are you not continuing with the magazine? I was like, wait, no, that's not what I'm saying. It's just, I don't have anything to contribute right now. And
that's okay.
Yeah, well, but right, this is one of those moments that I think was made just for now, Dr. Laura. We must understand that sometimes Spirit creates a space so that there can be a defined break, and then the next thing can come.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
So we have to learn how to communicate with people and tell them, I'm not putting you down forever, just right now until God gives me the next thing. There is no shame in that. There is victory in that. There's power in that, to let them know I'm coming back stronger, bigger, better than ever, but I need this space to rest, release, rejuvenate, and let God flow.
And I think that's this is you in kind of doing what you're saying, you know, taking that break, having that time to reflect, seeing if you want to come back, how you want to come back, how it will expand or be different, and what kind of things you want to be writing about, what you're inspired to share with women around the world. So I see it as an amazing time of reflection, and like, okay, let's have another regrouping here. Yeah. In the meanwhile, you're in the magazine for a few months, so I think it's brilliant. And I just want to show a little bit more of the magazine and you in here. These pictures are fantastic. For anybody that wants to know the details of Reverend Dr. Lynita's photographer and makeup artist and clothing, or stylist, it's all written in here in the magazine. Yes. And we have also other the writers that are in here. Dr. Missy, who you know. Oh, you know what I thought I'd do this month, Reverend Dr. Lynita? I thought I was really inspired I had a nudge. You know when you get that nudge? It's like, okay, I want to see the old New Thought magazines over the last 100 years.
Yes.
Look at that. All of these
are
old,
beautiful.
like original New Thought magazines. And some of them were bought out by the women reverends, the women ministers who wanted to share the teachings. And so I just thought, let's do one of these a month, and just a little bit of a background on this one. And this was a Nautilus magazine. There we are, 1898 to 1953, Elizabethtown. She created that. And look at that, was her publishing house there.
That's amazing.
Building.
That
Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
And thousands of people would be buying it every month. Yeah. So magazines are alive and kicking. Keep them going.
And
I'm
you
really
know, I have to say, anyone who picks up Divine CEO magazine is going to be blessed with an answer that they have been asking, because that is the nature of New Thought. We come to the things that we have asked because the teacher appears when the student is ready. Um,
yes,
One of the things that I posted on my Facebook page when I shared this issue specifically was this magazine celebrates the successes, but it also is like the good friend, the shoulder that you need when you're going through your challenges as well.
yes,
This is very much a magazine for the total person. They're women, mostly women, but this is good for the total person. And this
yes,
is a great example how Dr. Gonzalez, she's the doula for grief. And
yes,
you know, it's not just the grief of a loved one. It can be the grief of the ending of a relationship or a project that you put your heart and soul into, and now it's over. This is a resource. It is a fun guide. It is a empowering beauty manifesto. Divine CEO is all of that. And the fact that it's free, I mean, there's just no excuse not to go and get your copy at
yes.
Dr. Laura Topper's website, which is lauratopper.com. And you just subscribe and it will come to your box every month on time,
On
because
time.
she is a fierce editor in chief. Let me tell you, with Dr. Laura being a few hours ahead because she's in the UK
Oh,
and I'm on
yes,
the
I have
Eastern.
a little bit of time to play with
Right.
there.
But I got to make everybody laugh. So I am normally the last person to get mine in, because if she says it's the last day of the month, I'm like, the last US day of the month. And so she'll send me a message, Dr. Lynita, are you submitting? Yes. By the time you open your eyes tomorrow morning, you will have it, because that's midnight for me.
I love it. What would happen if I came to America?
Oh, I would be toast.
I'd still be on UK time. Oh, I love a time difference. Oh, Dr. Lynita, thank you so much for being here and shining your light and being so present and such a gift and so loving, really. You do work with people. I know you help people to clear the way financially for their lives, you help leaders to step into their knowing that they are leaders already. And anybody that wants to find you, I've put your here is your website. Oh, and you have a retreat next year. Let's talk about this. You said it's a 4-day retreat, and then you said it's a 90-day break. And I thought, okay, this
Right.
is a long holiday.
So first,
It's
thank you
not
so
a
much for
holiday.
having me. I so appreciate this opportunity to come and to learn and exchange. And
Yeah.
yes, the best way to reach me is my website, which is my name, LynitaMitchellBlackwell.com. No hyphens or anything.
No.
And the best way for us to next work together would be to participate in my annual retreat. It's called the 90-Day Breakaway. And so, no, it's not 90 days of retreat. Most of us have jobs and families, but it is a 4-day weekend where we do the deep dive on how you got to this place of overwork, overstress, and the fact that you want to come out of that. We give you the tools that you need. And then over the next 12 weeks, it is a follow-up weekly small group coaching call to ensure that you are supported and that you don't go back to those same habits that had you all stressed out in the first place. Because for most of us, during that weekend or that time that we're with our coach, I mean, all things are possible, right? We're
Yes.
revving to go, but then we're dropped back into the life that we left. and the old habits call to us. And so that's why we have the 12 weeks after the retreat, to ensure that you stay on the straight and narrow, that you don't go back
Yes.
to those same habits, those same ways of doing life. We want you to really embrace your life on fire.
Wow, I know you've really thought this through, because yes, I've been on retreats where it's all amazing and motivational, and then the retreat's over and it's like, okay, now I'm back here, and that's when the habits. And so this is the way you've planned this is so great, so intentional, that there is this amazing community afterwards for people to be a part of, and then do the work. Where is the retreat, Dr. Lynita?
You mean physically, or how can
Yeah,
I get
for
more
the 4
information?
days.
Okay, so I am not releasing the location yet.
Oh, secret
Yes,
location. Okay.
yes. So I
Right.
will be releasing that for Christmas.
Okay. That's good.
Yes, but in the meantime, if you would like an overview of the retreat and maybe hear from some people who have participated in prior years, please go to my website, LynitaMitchellBlackwell.com. And right there at the top is 90-Day Breakaway. Click on that, and
Great.
there'll be a really nice video and a write-up. And if you're interested in more, just click on the contact button, and then you'll be able to drop in your information. And as soon as we're rolling out, we will get that to you. I'm really excited, Dr. Laura.
This
So
is so exciting. Will you have it? Is it virtual as well, or will it